The island of Betio is a place most people could not find on a map. It is a strip of sand less than 3 kilometers long, surrounded by reefs and Pacific silence. If not for the year 1943, it would be forgotten entirely. Today, tourists walk its beaches barefoot. Children play soccer where U.S. Marines once crawled through machine gun fire. Local fishermen mend nets beside rusted Sherman tank hulls, half buried in the sand. And beneath their feet lie thousands of young men who never left. This is not the story of a battle. It is the story of one man, one letter, and a decision that changed a life 50 years later. Private First Class Thomas R. Whitaker was 19 years old when he stepped off the Higgins boat toward Tarawa. He had never seen the ocean before shipping to the Pacific. He had never fired a weapon at another human being. He had never kissed a girl. On November 20th, 1943, he learned what war really meant. Japanese defenders were dug into underground bunkers, pillboxes, trenches, and coral caves. The Marines were trapped on the reef by low tide, forced to wade 600 yards under machine gun fire. Men drowned with their packs on. Others bled into the waves. Blood mixed with salt water created a pink tide that washed ashore for days. Thomas made it to the beach. He did not make it farther. A bullet from an unseen bunker struck him through the chest. He lived long enough to push something into the sand beneath his body. A small waterproof note folded 4 times. It remained undiscovered until 1998. Elizabeth Garner was 43 years old when she first stepped onto Betio. She had studied Pacific battlefields her entire adult life, searching for artifacts that could bring peace to families left without graves. Betio felt wrong the moment she arrived. The island was too quiet. The waves seemed heavy. Every palm tree cast a shadow shaped like a cross. On her first morning, while kneeling beside the rusted hull of a Japanese tank, she found a patch of darker sand that moved strangely beneath wind. She brushed it aside and uncovered a rib bone. Then a dog tag, Thomas R. Whitaker. At the bottom of the shallow grave was a brittle object, a folded note sealed in wax. The handwriting was shaky but readable. "Dear Mom, if you are reading this, I probably fell on this island. I hope I did not run. I hope I did not hide. I want you to know I was not afraid when it happened. I had good men beside me. I was not alone. Tell Dad I hope the farm grows bigger. Tell Margaret I'm sorry I teased her. Tell Bobby the tractor is his now, he earned it. Mom, I never saw snow again. I wanted to. I thought about it a lot. There is a boy here fighting with me named Hiroshi. He is Japanese American. Some of the guys don't like him. I do. He talks about New York like it's magic. If you see Hiroshi after the war in America, please tell him I said thank you. I am not writing this because I think I will die, but because men here die every minute, and there might not be another minute for me. With love, Tom." The ink ended sharply. There was blood on the bottom fold. Elizabeth wept while reading it. She knew what must happen. This letter had to go home. Elizabeth returned to the United States with Whitaker's remains and the letter. She located his parents' graves, visited the family farm, and found that Thomas had one living relative, his sister, Margaret. Margaret was 81. She had never known how her brother died. Her hands shook violently when she touched the letter, and one question struck her. Who was Hiroshi? That name had never appeared in government records. He was not listed in Tarawa casualty lists or Marine rosters. The search began. They spent months reading archives, witness interviews, field reports. Nothing. Until a December evening, when a dusty box arrived from the National Archives. Inside was a roster from the 2nd Marine Division with crossed-out names. One name stood out. Private Hiroshi Tanaka, born in New York City, killed at Tarawa, body never recovered. Margaret spoke one sentence: find his family. They deserve to know. New York City, 1999. The winter wind cut like broken glass. On the 5th floor of a quiet Queens apartment building lived David Tanaka, a Japanese American history teacher. He was 57. He had never known his father. The man died before David was born. All David knew was a photograph, a man in uniform smiling beside a Christmas tree. The picture had no date, no location, no story. When Elizabeth and Margaret arrived at his door, David thought they were survey workers. Then they told him their names. They told him about Tarawa. They told him about Private Whitaker. And they gave him his father's final identity. Hiroshi Tanaka had been interned under Executive Order 9066. After being released, he volunteered for the Marines. To prove his loyalty, he died fighting for a country that once imprisoned him. David collapsed into a chair. He whispered, "My father wasn't a ghost." Margaret and David agreed to travel to Betio together, to stand where their relatives died. Betio greeted them with bitter heat and a quiet ocean. They walked the same reef the Marines crossed in 1943. They saw bunkers pocked with bullet holes, coral stained brown by rusted steel. They stood at the exact point where Thomas had fallen. Margaret placed a handful of snow from Alaska, carried in a steel container, into the sand. It melted instantly. David placed the photograph of his father on the scorched remains of a tank. Neither spoke for many minutes. Finally, Margaret turned to him. "Your father saved my brother," she whispered, "and now you've given him back to us." David replied, "Your brother made my father real again." On that island, two families, American and Japanese American, ended a war that governments had never finished. When Margaret died in 2005, the letter from Tarawa lay on her chest. It was placed in her coffin, not buried, but held. David kept his father's Marine dog tag. In his classroom, every year, he told students the story of Thomas Whitaker, of Hiroshi Tanaka, of Elizabeth, the archaeologist, of a note buried under coral, and of a handshake between two strangers. Students cried. Some hugged him. One boy enlisted because of it. War is not statistics. It is not medals, maps, or timelines. It is 19-year-old boys afraid of the ocean. It is letters hidden in the sand. It is photographs without names. It is families waiting at the window, decades after telegrams stop arriving. Private Whitaker was never alone. Private Tanaka was never forgotten. One note changed everything. And somewhere on Betio, beneath quiet waves and restless wind, Thomas's footprint still exists, pressed forever into coral rock. Because memory is stronger than time, and stories survive because people tell them.